Amazing work you have done, Ram Charan ji. We all know your work on the silver screen, but the work, I think...
I'll stand.
Are you sure? You don't? Okay. We all know the amazing work your father and you have done on the silver screen. Two superstars in one family, but superstars in this area of doing good. What was the inspiration, and how are you taking this forward?
Talking about the CSR activity or the career?
We'll start because this is for an award for doing good. So we'll start with CSR.
Perfect. I mean, thank you, jury, the esteemed jury, and NDTV for having me. But this award, it's a bit of a burden on my shoulder. The tag you have named this award, it's very heavy on my shoulder. Also because, not because I've not done enough, but it's not initiated by me. Truly this award goes to my dad, who has started. I'm just a director on the board. They say in Hindi, एक आदमी का संकल्प बहुत strong होना चाहिए. Sorry, I'm going to drop in words of English in between, but I know this word sankalp. My dad has always put it in my head. Whatever you do, it has to be genuine. It has to come true from your heart. Even if you're talking to your man Friday, talking to your driver, talking to your boy. The first day of my shoot, I still remember when I went, I thought my dad, this is in 2007 when I started my first film, I thought my dad was going to give me some valuable suggestions of how to act, but no. He said, take care of your staff, take care of the boy who's going to be right next to you, and take care of the people around you. He didn't say take care of your director and producer. That's the kind of value, that's the kind of humanitarian, values he has instilled in my head since then. I want to share a small incident that happened in 1997. To everybody's surprise, a very dear person from our own family. Every story, be it an Indian story or a Hollywood story, it all begins and ends with a very personal problem. In 1999, a very dear family friend of ours passed away because at the right time at the operation table, he could not get the blood he needed during the operation. That was a surprise. In 20th century, a person dying, lack of availability of blood, was a shocking for all of us. By then, my dad had enjoyed the stardom, the fandom for 2 decades, lakhs and crores of people. And we couldn't save my own family member. He then initiated, he channelized all the love he had got from the people and the fans in the right direction. And since 1998, he announced saying, if anybody wants to take a picture, henceforth, has to do something towards the society. And the initiative he took is, every person who donates a unit of blood will get a picture with me for free.
Fantastic. And I think, Ram Charan, during COVID, we saw so many people posting as film stars Insta pictures from home. But your father and you took the initiative. In fact, you've helped 75,000 workers who were without jobs then from the film industry, and you provided oxygen as well.
Yeah. I mean, yes, ma'am, that couldn't be done or couldn't be achieved without the support of the film industry and people around. Yes, there's always one person with the great sankalp who can initiate it, but it cannot be done with the support of his colleagues and the whole industry who have the privilege to support this initiative. Yes, my dad has initiated this for 2 quarters, that is 6 months. We have taken care of 75,000 people until 2020 October when the government said with protocols maintained, you can open your business. We have taken care. It's a very small help, but it was much needed at that time.
Tell me, Ram Charan, having two superstars at home, are there ever any clashes? Or do you take your father's advice on which movies to sign? Or does he ask you now, since you all got RRR?
On a lighter note, I have to share this. In 2009, I worked with Mr. Rajmouli, who is my present director of RRR as well. My second movie, I worked with him called Magadira. He said, Ram, I'm going to come to your house to narrate this story of Magadira to your dad, so he also feels confident about what we both are doing. I said, sure. He came, he narrated, so both were sitting, and I was just a spectator in the room. And by the time the interval, he said, Raj, so right now, I didn't understand, I didn't get your point. So I'm right now going to jump from here, and then he said, sir, not you, your son. He said, yeah, same thing. But he's such a passionate person. And he said, when he listens to something, he starts involving himself because it's been 45 years he's been an actor. But that's how, I don't know if it's competitive or he sees himself in my characters. I don't know. But I want to thank you. I don't know if I really thanked my dad. I'm 37. I've been here for 15 years. I'm on my way of making my 15th film. I don't know I really thanked my dad. Because every time, on functions, when you thank your dad too much, like, yeah, baap or bete ka story ban raha hai again, the nepotism. So we don't talk too much about it. We like to keep it under the carpet and let it be natural. But keeping aside the critics, whatever they feel, I really feel we should appreciate our parents, whoever it is, even if he's actively working today or not. Yes, being the only son in the house and having a father, I sometimes wish I have a brother. There is...
Another
come on.
superstar then.
Oh, maybe. But don't you guys believe father and son tug of war chalta hai har ghar mein? Yeah, Rahul?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
When you're the only son, it happens even more. So that used to happen. And during COVID, suddenly this man who's so busy is locked in the house with my mother. And my mother's going crazy because from the flour, how it's watered, to the salt and the food, my dad is very OCD. It's asking. My mom called me one day and said, Ram, can you get him a nice pet, like a small dog, so his attention is off me and she's taking care? You won't believe my dad said the same thing.
They're going to be watching this, so we're going to see when you get home.
But Dad, whatever differences we have as father and son, it's very natural. I think it happens in every home. We realize that in COVID, we don't need any counselors. All we need is to sit down. And one thing, I don't want to lie saying that we didn't have differences and we were not as close as what we are today.
Wonderful.
I don't mind sharing this. My grandfather, my dad's father, was a police officer, excise duty police officer from a very humble village called Nellore. Very strict person. So my dad was very scared. My dad was in the Navy. He went to Chennai telling my grandfather, I'm studying and preparing to be a Navy commander, but he was in the acting school. So he told me one day during COVID, I'm not getting enough time to spend with you. I want you to know that after our grandfather passed away, I miss spending time with my father. I regret not spending more time with my dad, Ram. I don't want you to have this regret. Please spend more time with me. If we have differences, before it used to take 2 weeks, now he's coming back to me and telling my mother, tell him to come for lunch.
Oh,
In less than 3 days. I mean,
that's really heartwarming.
I swear, that's so heartwarming.
But-
And I go right now, every day, I speak to him, good or bad. It is both ways.
No, I can imagine. And
Yeah.
I think really this award is for
So,
both
Dad,
of you in a sense.
thank you for making that initiative, for doing such wonderful work, not only at home. They say charity begins at home. You have begun the charity at home by keeping me and giving me that safe space, not only in the society with lakhs of people you have given me. Charity begins at home. The son, the mother, the kids, the